Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. That's not going anywhere. Okay, welcome back to the channel and another video on the barn build. I haven't released any videos for a couple of weeks. This is obviously Christmas and New Year, and I hope everybody had a good time over the Christmas New Year period. Personally, I worked most of it, so didn't really do an awful lot other than work and work in here. Now, I've done bits and pieces in here. I didn't get anywhere near as much done as I was hoping, but we have got some progress to show you. And I haven't filmed everything just because I'm really not very good at doing some of this stuff. And so any feedback that you've got, you know, positive or negative, either way, would probably be helpful. I mean, I don't do this for a living, obviously, and this is just me doing my best out here. But we'll go around and show you what we've got done. But basically, we are ready now to get the floor in, and that will be probably the next video. But this video will go through what we got done over the Christmas period. So we got the base for this rear wall in at the end of the last video, and there I'm just laying the blocks in to level it up with the back of the garage. Now these blocks were lying around at the farm when we got there. We didn't buy these, that's why they're a bit of a mix and match, but it was enough to get the job done, and then moved on to the front. So put half a pad in there with a couple of bits of rebar in it, ready to tie into the front half. Once that had gone off, again, laid the blocks up to pretty much floor level. The floor level's not critical, but it's roughly what we're going to aim for. So making some progress on the wall, but I'm going to leave that there for a minute and then concentrate on the entrance because I want to tie this piece in together. Now, you can see here that there's nothing left of this woodwork here at all. I mean, it's just rotted away to nothing. And I'm assuming, looking at this concrete here, that there used to be a post in there, probably a wooden post, I would guess, probably for the gate that was here. But there's actually nothing at all to put a door on for the garage. This wood is just so rotten. There's literally nothing left of it. So this all has to come out. I've got some steels here. These are galvanized beams that were ideal. So I think what I'm going to do is attach one to the top. I'm not sure if you can see that up there. If I attach one to that wooden beam, which is solid, I've been up there and had a look at that. Square it up, drop it down into the floor. That's about 3 meters and they're 4 meter lengths. So it'll be in the floor by 1 meter. And then tie it in across here with concrete pad and then tie it into the wall as well. So that'll give us something to hang a door on. This side has a brick pillar, actually a return on the wall, which makes it very strong. And this is where the gate used to actually pivot. But I'm going to dig down here as well, put a steel in here, and that will allow us to tie the tops together and make it very strong. So the first job then will be to break out this piece of concrete here. I'm not sure how big it is, how deep it is. There's obviously concrete there where the steel is as well. But I just need a hole big enough to actually put that steel in. But it's got to go down by about 1 meter, so it's going to be quite a lot of work. Okay, so these steels have these plates welded on the end. So I've measured them, the holes roughly 17 centimeters apart. So what I've done is up on the beam I put 2 screws roughly the right distance apart just to hook on, and then I've run this line with a couple of washers on the end of it as a plumb bob, just to give me an idea of where to go. So that's roughly in the middle. I've moved it over about 5 mil just to be on the safe side. I had to cut away a little bit of that beam, but that's not staying anyway. So next bit will be to try and get this steel in. So I'm having a well-deserved cupper after getting that in. I did the first attempt. I had to dig out a bit more because obviously I mismeasured somewhere and it was slightly too long, didn't fit. So I dug a bit more out and put it back in again, and it's in there now. It's only screwed at the top at the moment with a couple of, I mean, they're hefty screws, they're not little screws. It's only holding it in position at the moment, but what that will allow me to do is move it around so I can get it all plumb. I have no idea how heavy this is, but my guess would be about 40-45 kilos, maybe slightly more. It's very heavy and definitely not recommended to do it on your own. So secured at the top, that's a big chunk of wood up there. It's about 4 by 5, I think it is, something like that. It's fairly chunky. Those screws aren't going to stay in there. Eventually it'll get bolted through, but they're loose. They're tight, but they're loosish at the moment to allow me to move this around and to get it all plumbed up. So I'll get some concrete in the bottom. I'm not going to fill this up yet because I want to tie it in with the base for the wall on that side and tie it in with that concrete that's in that steel as well. But I'll put a big chunk of concrete in the bottom first just to hold it in position, make sure it's all plumb, and then we'll go from there. So the rear half of the barn is matched up with the original wall that was there, so that's all level. The front half of this front portion is done roughly to floor level. The floor level itself is undecided yet. What I'm going to do in this front half of the section is just pour it in concrete. I've shutted it all off ready, same level as the blocks, and there's rebar in there. And I've chipped away a lot of the concrete on that railway line. The reason to do this is just to tie those two steels in together, so it'll give it a bit more strength. So I'm going to get on and do that now. So I filled it all with concrete and covered it with a few layers of plastic just to keep the frost off it. And now it's a couple of days later, so we're going to see what we got. So I'm fairly happy with all this, to be honest. There's not too many voids in the concrete. I'll give it a fair tap just to try and get the air out of it. It's pretty level and very straight, which is nice. Obviously this side of the beam obviously needs tying in, but I mean, it's already in a couple of feet in the ground from there anyway. So once the entrance gets concreted in it as well, this will be absolutely solid. So now I can run a couple of courses of block work on there, and that'll be this bit done. So again, the top row of blocks in just to finish off this wall. Very, very slow going because I'm not a bricklayer. I'm terrible at doing this. I spend forever trying to get things level and straight. Nothing seems to quite work. And it doesn't seem to matter how many videos I watch and how many blocks I lay. I don't seem to get any better at it, so it's slow going. I'll bring it back when this is finished. So that's the block work all finished. Just got to wait for that to go off properly now before we do anything with it. I've got to add obviously the wood back on the bottom and tie those panels in, but that's done. Just got this entrance left to sort out now, but I won't do that until we get the other side done. So the next thing now is to have a look at this other side. So the next job will be to put the steel in this side, and I've already started digging away. I've taken a big chunk of cement out there, or concrete out there. But there's a big stone there which I need to break up, so I'll have to get the big impact out and start picking away at that. So I thought I'd better check to see just how far out the building is. So I've tied a string line basically to the corner here, which is the one where we put the metal in. And you can see up there that the actual wood is slightly out, so it's further out there. But if you follow the line across over to here, you can see just how far out that is. And it's just from there, it's about 30 millimeters difference, give or take, which when you put it over this side makes a huge difference. So in order to get it square, at the moment this is about, so at the moment this is about 15 centimeters off, but because of the distance involved, to get it absolutely flat, it's got to go to there. So in order to get that square, we're about 5 centimeters there, and that then puts the line against the wall that end. So that's not a huge issue because that wood, like I said, is already sticking out, so we can go further back. But I'm just wondering whether it's worth actually going back that far. So I need to work out what's best to do with this. Okay, so I've had to take some of the wood away at the top there because it was sticking out past the brickwork. So I've just hacked that away basically. And then found out the edge of the building. Now the edge of the building is nowhere near straight, as everything else isn't. So worked out roughly what we got. Worked out the position of the 2 pins. Now that piece of wood there is added on to the rest of this, which is all going to be changed anyway. So that's only going to be temporary. But it gives us a line now. So I put a string with washers again down here just to give us the line. And that's roughly where the pillar's going to go, or the steel's going to go rather. So the good news is we don't have to do any more of this digging away from this bit because that's cleared now. So all I have to do is just dig this piece down. The bad news is we're at 3 meters there and we need to go to 4. So we've got another meter to go. So I'm going to get the digger out again and dig some more. Okay, so we're pretty much full depth now. It always amazes me how much dirt comes out of a little hole, but that was a fair dig. It's solid at the bottom, it's just gravel coming out of it now. So I'll clean up by hand, and then got a little bit more clean up on this edge to do, just to get the steel in there. And then we'll be able to get that concreted in as well. So once this is done, we can make a start and look at the floor. Getting there slowly. Okay, so I got this footing poured last night for this steel, so again covered it over just to stop the frost on it. but we'll just pull those off now. Let's see what we got. So this steel has a lot of holes in it, and I don't know why I didn't think of this in the last one, but what I did was actually put a tap through it and threaded the hole, and then just bolted a 10 that's an M12 bolt into it, and that will help it tie into the concrete as well. And the other one had a piece of steel attached to it at the bottom anyway, so it will be solid in there, but this one has got 2 bolts, one either side of the web, so it's going to be solid. And yeah, really pleased with that now. So that's in the right place. Level wise, it's pretty good. This way is all good, but it does lean back very slightly, but with the weight of the door, that's not a bad thing. So this is where we're at the moment. I've got the 2 steels concreted into the floor. They need finishing off, but they are concreted in and solid. So there's one that side and one this side. And then the wall for the, well, the retaining wall basically for the floor. So that's all in and finished. So the next job now will be to get some of this dirt will have to come out, and we're going to level it all up. So the floor should, in theory, come up to that where that concrete is basically. So that's going to be roughly the floor level. I didn't really need to put the extra couple of layers on, but it just made it all tie in, so it's all the same level. And the floor level itself isn't critical, so we're just going to go to whatever this ends up being is where it'll be. I want to try and aim for that, but if it's not 100%, then not too worried. Probably put most of this shale in as hardcore, and obviously we'll have to get a bit more hardcore as well, just to get that level. If you are enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you can, because it really does make a big difference to the channel. And not just my channel, any channel. I mean, if you're enjoying the videos, just hit the like button, subscribe if it's something you're interested in. It makes a massive difference to the creators and to the channels. It just gives them something to work for. And it doesn't cost anything at all. So having said that, that is going to be about it for this video. The next one on the barn hopefully will be the floor, once we've determined roughly a floor level, and that'll all be worked out in the next one. I have got a couple of other different videos to do now as well. One for the Ranger and a couple of bits and pieces to sort out. But that's going to be about it for this video, and I'll see you again shortly on the next one. Thanks for watching. Okay, so a fun fact that I didn't know was that if you actually take the measurements of the I-beam, and this one was 92 wide, 155 long, 8 mil on this web and 5 mil on that web, you can go on the internet and actually put those dimensions in, and it will tell you how heavy the I-beam is. So in the video I thought that this was about 40 kilos, 45 kilos, maybe slightly more. Turns out this one worked out at 71 kilos, and because I chopped this little piece off the other one because it hit bedrock at the bottom there, that one works out at about 69 kilos, 69 and a bit. So yeah, a lot heavier than I thought they were, and like I said in the video, definitely not recommended on your own. I'll see you again shortly on the next one.